Matt's house right now. I actually just left my house. It is about 6:45 in the morning. We both took off work today, and we are gonna meet up at his house. It's about halfway between my house and where we're going. Basically, we can put our kayaks or canoe or anything we want in at a bridge and float into two areas that actually look like they're pretty thick right along the river. It's just like a open river bottom, kind of like grassy, shrubby area that looks pretty thick. So we're gonna head into both of those areas. We're not gonna take the canoe or kayaks today. We're just gonna take waders, get in there and check it out and see how crossable some areas are, and see what access is like and see what the sun's like. It's actually pretty cool out today. It's only about 60 degrees right now. There's only a high of like 65 for the day, so it should be pretty nice. Hopefully we get down here and find some good sun, but we're really just excited to be out here walking around in the woods on such a nice day. So we'll keep on working our way down here, and then we'll show you guys around a little bit. There we go. We just got here. We're walking one of the hiking trails in, and then we're gonna drop down to the river and follow the river into those bottoms. Walking this hiking trail in, this first ag field that we got to has corn planted in it, so that's a good sign. Hopefully we work our way in here and keep finding some good stuff. So we just wadered up, and we're wading the river now. So the only way to get into this specific area is to either hike all the way around through the crop fields, come down through a bunch of woods, and then cross the river. We would definitely just use kayaks or the canoe to access this whenever we come in to hunt. But that's the only other way to get into it besides the water, unless you come in off the private property on the other side of the river. So we're just gonna wade the river a couple hundred yards and then come up off the bank into that bedding area and see what it looks like. Got babies around somewhere. She's playing down. We just made our way into this bedding area. You can see all this grass around us is super tall. It's a perfect area for deer to be bedded. Bunch of sparse trees out through this tall grass. They have water directly beside them. Hopefully it all pans out.
Devin just found this nice bed in here.
Alright guys, so I just found this bed here that I'm sitting in. So basically, Matt's giving you guys an outer view of it right now. but this bed's facing to the northeast. So basically what this buck's doing is he's laying down facing the way that I'm facing right now, and with a south or a southeast wind, he can see out across all this open grass out in front of him. And then with all this thick cover behind him, he can smell everything coming from behind him. So by the time anything would see him from behind him, he smells them and he can get out of here. So we're definitely gonna mark this bed and mark down which way it's facing and the wind direction to hunt it, and be back in here to see if we can find out what he is. Well, we just found another bed here, only about probably 40 yards from the last one, and it would make perfect sense. This is probably, could be a group of bucks, but I would say the same buck using multiple beds right here in this area. The reason why I say that is this bed's actually facing the opposite way of that one. So this would be a perfect bed for him to just move 40 yards from where he'd bed with the opposite wind. And he can bed right here within a 40-yard span of his two beds with either direction of a wind. So basically this bed is facing the opposite. He's facing to the southwest with a north or a northeast wind blowing at his back, northwest wind blowing at his back, and he can see out across this open grass out in front of him. Again, thick cover at his back. Nothing can get in on him. This buck's got a perfect setup here, but now that we know his setup, we can get in here and get an even better setup on him. All right, guys, so we just found our third bed within probably about 40 yards of the other two beds again. And this bed is actually significantly bigger and more worn down than the others. It looks like he's using this a good bit. It's actually on a lone tree right out in the middle of all this wide open grass. And it looks like he's bedding here with just about any wind. And he's just kind of bedding on either side of the tree based on the wind. You can see here there's actually an old rub in front of this bed where it looks like a buck had rubbed this tree either a year or two ago, which tells me that they're probably using this bed multiple years. They've been using this bed multiple years, which hopefully means it's a mature buck. So we're gonna definitely get a camera up in this bedding area somewhere along the river so we can come in with easy access here late summer and check the camera. So from that last bed we found, we just followed a trail. You can see the lone tree right here behind me that we found the beds under. It's only about 50 yards from us, maybe less. And we're down here along the river now. We just followed a heavy trail right down here to the river, and you can see where he's coming down to this little spurt that comes off the river for him to get a drink during the middle of the day. So with our access that we have planned, it'll be perfect for us to get up on the edge of the river here and just wait for him to come get a drink. So it's perfect that he's bedding there with a south wind, hot day. He's gonna need water, so this should be a good one. We just made our way out and around that lone bed that we found in the lone tree out here. And you can see the lone tree out here in the field behind me, probably about 75 yards away. And we just found a perfect setup right here in this cluster of trees where we can set up about 75 yards away from his bed. And then that heavy trail that we just found coming down to the river where he's been drinking is about a 20-yard shot to the riverbank. So it's literally going to be the exact perfect setup that we've been looking for. How excited are you, bud?
Oh, I'm pumped.
Pumped. We're on our way back out now. We just made our way all the way around that whole bedding area. We found a lot of really good sign, a lot of beds, a lot of heavy trails, some old rubs in the beds, and a couple spots where they're coming down to the river straight from the beds to drink during the daytime. And we found a couple trees that we could get into with the way the beds are set up without the bucks seeing us or smelling us. And so we can get in there and get a setup on them and wait for them to come to water or get up in the evening to move the food. We got one trail camera up in there on one of the heavier trails looked like all the trails met up in one spot. So we'll come back in late July sometime and check that camera and see what's in there.